Hey everyone, welcome to another Friday night with Sawmill Charlie and everybody else. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link in here, and anybody wants to come in. There's the link. And it's pinned. So, hey, Tim and Hannah and Shane and Larry and Randy and Keith. I've seen Bob in here, and there's Lee and Mark. Hopefully everybody's having a good time and everything's good with their bees. It's rained here a little bit today, kind of showered on and off and all that. Bees weren't definitely flying or anything of that nature. And that's pretty much it for here for now. It was 70 degrees yesterday. Now we're down into the 50s. And right now we're just at like 39 degrees. It's going to get cool tonight. And there's a honeybee compound. And so then the next, I'll say, week's worth of temperatures are around here are going to be around 55, maybe 60 at the very high during the daytime. So the girls are, and there's Brian, Mountain, Colorado. And it's dark for 3 hours. Yeah, I tell you, this here daylight normal time is 4:30. It's dark. It seems like, or 5 o'clock at the latest. It's been a drag, and then you have to get used to it for a while. And then Shane's talking. It was 6C, which is 42 degrees. Now it's down to 2, which is 35 degrees, almost freezing. So that's cold. Hey, Russell. So we'll go for a couple hours tonight. I got to get up and going to go to the State Beekeepers Association meeting tomorrow. It's about an hour and a half away. So there it is. You're there.
Okay, good. What's going on?
No, not much. Just getting through the day, and been hemming and hawing the weather to go to this state meeting, which is like an hour and a half away. It's got a lady, I guess your PhD or whatever from Texas AMU, talking about queens and relationship with drones and all that. And then another subject she's going to do about queens. But that's via Zoom, which I could actually go to the meeting via Zoom. But my big thing is to get away from work. Because I either go to the meeting or stay here and work all morning. So,
or say you're going to the meeting, go to McDonald's and sit there and drink a cup of coffee and watch the meeting on a laptop.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's an idea too. But I don't know. Kind of get involved. They're going to have a honey contest there. Not that I'm going to enter it or nothing like that. 10 minutes from my house, Katie Lee.
Well, it was in the 70s today, and then all of a sudden it turned cloudy and started raining a little bit, but not heavy rain, just sprinkling basically.
That's what it did here all day long. Now, who's Katie Lee, Brian? Is that
Is that the speaker?
That's the speaker.
Yeah.
I don't know that person.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain tomorrow here, so guess we're gonna be chilling out tomorrow, which is good. So I've been pretty much busy all week doing stuff, so I guess tomorrow's a good day to work in the honey house, start getting that squared away.
Right.
And who was it? Hope Sadler sent me that conference that Ian's going to be at is the let me see, I've got it here. It is the Henderson County Beekeeping Association in Hendersonville, North Carolina. So that's kind of like near Asheville, the Asheville area. On
That's a
December
long
2nd.
That's a good ways.
It's actually
And,
there. He's going to be going into Charlotte, I guess, and then to Hendersonville, which is a few hours away from me. I think. Let me.
a guest judge? I don't think so. You have actually to be a honey judge. You have to take a test and be certified at that. That's not something you just do.
So he's going from an hour away from me to 2.5 hours away from me to the show. It's pretty much north of Athens, Georgia. Greenville, Spartanburg area, North Carolina, north of there. So
Yeah, tomorrow's speakers, well, the one that's zooming in is Dr. Julian Ragel, professor of agriculture at Texas A&M. And the first one is factors that impact the reproductive quality of drones and queens. Then her second topic will be queen management essentials. And then in between that, there's the gal that's going to be there. She's EAS Master Beekeeper, winner of the best honey in the world contest, whatever that amounts to. Preparing honey for the shows. Forget that. And after lunch, she's going to do something about how to make candles, I guess. And prior to that is the EAS show they're going to have here in Maryland next year. Talk about that. After that, I'll leave. And they have a business. They have a business meeting. I can do, like I say, I can do this at Zoom, but it's like
something to get you away from home for a little while.
Yeah, that's what it really boils down to, just to get away from home.
Yeah, you can just drive down here. We'll watch it together on the computer. All right. Charlie, in 3 days, we're supposed to get up to 12C for 4 days. I have found it on the hives right now. Would you put liquid on for the 4 days? I'm thinking, what for, but.
I'm trying to find my, there it is. 12C, that's 53 degrees, 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you could do that. Put liquid on there. Now, I just watched a video with the guy's name was Bill Hesback. He was also interviewed on YouTube with David Peck up there.
David Peck.
And he was talking about condensing the hive, meaning to no upper entrance. Basically, like if I had like my hive there, the purple hive, which is a licensed poly hive, It does not have any upper entrances or ventilation. The only ventilation is the front door, and there is one of the circles in the bottom of it for ventilation from the bottom. And he was stating on that interview that we had him come into our club meeting that you could put liquid feed on as long as you had, let's say, an insulated top around it, and the bees would take it. And basically you're protecting the heat dome above the hive. Whereas if you got top ventilation, the hot air goes out and they consume more because they got to heat everything up. I found the one he did for us at our club level I thought it was a little bit more informative than one he did for Peck. I think Peck got into a lot of I don't know, scientific stuff and all that stuff. You know, the guy was an engineer. I do know that he was an EAS master beekeeper, which doesn't really have any heavy weight on what he was talking about. I don't think. You know,
I think Brad's rendering a video, so he might be in.
Darren, my club is the Susquehanna Beekeepers Association of Maryland. There is one of Pennsylvania. I don't know whether it's Monroe County or something like that. It's up in that area there. But yeah, we had our elections. I'm on the 5th year as president.
You got elected again?
Yeah, nobody else is going to run. That's like this one guy that he's on our board and he's my liaison, and I don't know, he always has an issue, let's say, about some of the decisions made. And, you can't, we weren't going to have a live meeting. And I said, hey, we can have an election. There's no big deal. I said, we had one in COVID time where we did everything through Zoom. We never met. And that's how we did it, through a straw poll. I said, who else is going to run? Nobody. No, nobody wants it.
About to sneeze.
Yeah, Russell says he would beat them.
Think any opportunity you can take to get it in there beforehand, as long as they can get any moisture out, right?
Yeah. But like DC was talking about the insulation factor, and that's what the guy was saying on the program, that you could push the envelope a little bit more with liquid feed as long as there's heavy duty insulation over top of the feeder, so the heat doesn't get lost. And it keeps and also the feed has to be warm too before they'll take it. And it has to be a warm environment for them to come up. If it's a top high feeder, for them to come up into that feeder and get it. Or you would have a frame feeder, which I don't use. I never particularly cared for them. Yeah, like DC says, yeah, the insulation helps them control the heat. And that was one of the things that the guy was talking about. And he was talking about, I forget what's the guy, we talked about it last night, with Tardif is up on the Yukon.
Etchin, yeah.
He talked about, he made mention of his work that he has done. And when you have no ventilation on top, and there's plenty of insulation on the top and the side walls, because you got to, everybody talks about the condensation factor. Well, if you have insulation, there won't be any condensation, because the the surface of the top of the box is going to be warm. It will not be a cold surface. And our boxes, like my wooden boxes there with the inner cover with no insulation, the surface of the inner cover is going to be cold, and in turn condense that heat, and the moisture is going to drop down on top of them. So that's why people ventilated to let that heated gases slash air out of the hive. Mine have a little bit of blocks underneath of them, which raise that inner cover maybe a 16th to an eighth at the very most, and all. So it's, the insulated hives are definitely a nice thing, but the problem I have with them is, like that license is trying to use a ProVap. Anything that's got any heat, it's going to melt that hive in seconds. So they need to come up, if these companies want to sell more of that, I think they would need to come up with some apparatus or way of dealing with a Robbie's Instavate or ProVap or something of that nature. I'm trying to read all the comments here. For the love of...
Russell says, what do you think of Robbie's new vaporizer? Supposedly it's a compact one. Have you seen it?
Yeah, instead of having the box, the instrumentation box, it's actually on an angle where you can, it's kind of like the ProVap. Even the ProVap, it's on, it's on an angle like this. So you can see the readings on the back end of that thing. Then they've come up with they've redesigned the handle of it. That's all. And then instead of it being a square box, it's more so designed to go into the front of the hive. This thing has kind of like a bowl design. It's a round, it looks like a soup can on the front of it, just like the ProVap, only the ProVap's small. This thing's about the size of a soup can, and on the top of it is where you stick your plunger in there that measures out your dosage, and you just hit it, and it does the ProVap thing. I don't know. I haven't really used it or anything like that. I mean, and I think that they were listening to the people who were running the ProVaps or the Instavape, trying to correct some problems with it and stuff, and all that. It looks fine with me. I think there's a lot of variation when it comes to batteries. To me, when they say, "Oh, you can do so many hives on a life of a battery," you got to also take the equation is that how many grams are you cooking per hive? Are you cooking 4 grams or 2 grams or whatever? In most cases, I would think most people are going to be going 4 grams. I would go 6 myself, but they only have it up to 4 on that one thing. And that's going to take more energy, and you're not going to get as many hives done. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the guy that was talking that night, he liked, I'm going to say, called a Hive IQ. Ever heard of that one, Bob?
Is that our guy from New Zealand there?
I don't know. He was talking about the insulation thing, that he liked the brand called Hive IQ. I don't know what that kind looks like. There's Civic, and then there's, of course,
let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, we saw that at Hive Life. That's kind of like
Can you put it up?
yeah. Let me set up here. So it's basically a smart hive, right? Where it's got sensors and all in it to tell you the weight and the temperature and a bunch of different things on there.
Is it polystyrene or is it something else?
You know, I'm trying to think I think it was plastic coated polystyrene.
What's this thing, electrified or something?
Yeah, well, it's got a bunch of like battery operated sensors in it, right? So it shows about you said 10 colonies, $2,500. 3 hive deep, $259. And it runs on an app.
That's just too much money.
Well, that's still cheaper than an app in May. But you probably have to pay for the app. I don't know. Ultra high density polystyrene shipped in a flat pack for easy setup. Has a three-stage entrance. I thought it had a bunch of different sensors in it, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was this one.
Russell, which one would I buy? I'm not really sure. I would say I have to look at the new one a little bit better. There's a picture of it. I don't find that new Instavap if you got a picture of that. I'm not real sure depending on how you're going to apply it, whether you're going to run it. There's the new one right there in the middle.
Well,
There's your comparison side by side.
it's $400. It's $100 cheaper. And it looks like it's got 5 different battery options. So DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita, Ridgid, and Bosch.
And there's the other one there.
And that one's $495.
I don't know. It definitely looks rugged. It's got the big heavy duty tip on the front. So you can hang it off. And I see it's got those jabbers on the side. So it's still designed more so for the front entrance, I think.
Right here.
Yeah, that's for the dig into your hive. The only thing that he was talking about on the video was instead of having to bend over to look at your readout, that you could, this thing's cocked up on an angle so you can just look at it from the back end. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of up to you. I think I'm just where
It's probably about the same thing as far as the internals to it. Looks pretty good though. So it's $50 cheaper than.
I think is that the deal for a knobby?
Yeah, Russell's saying instant vaps are $450 for knobby, and this one's $400 for knobby. pre-order. But they do the same thing, right?
And then Lee says, hey, all he has to do is step 1 foot back and kind of look at it. I mean, I think after a while, when you get used to using one like that, you kind of know time wise, when you need to look.
I don't remember what I remember Ed talking about the one he bought, the less expensive one. But it's been a while since, so I don't want to misquote what he said on the stream. So maybe if he's around sometime this evening or this weekend, he'll jump in and give us a recap on it.
I don't know. Once Brad wants to know whether or not he's making it or is it an import?
I don't know. It says instant VAP on the side of it, just like the other one does. So I don't know if it's the same guy that makes them both or not. Recovery time is slow on the other one. That might, I don't know if it has to do with the batteries or not. Some people are saying that the battery size really dictates on how fast it recharges.
So what are they saying? Like a 8? What is it? 5 is the smallest.
I believe that one I was just looking at. Let me bring it back up. Was a let's see, shop instant VAP 18, and that's the older one. I believe I want to say this one was a 20, right? No, it's both 18 volts. 5 amp hour is what he's got in the photo. 5 amp hour batteries. So well, they do have that washer that goes around the end of the tip, Charlie, for Apame. So it'd probably work on polystyrene as well. The little white tip that goes around the copper there.
What's it, insulated?
Yeah, it's I'll show it to you. It's just a little tip right here. It's a little white tip.
Yeah.
Goes around the outside. Oh, pickup only. So he's not sending those. That's the old one. It said instant VAP, and so does the new one. Also says instant VAP right here along the side. Says looks like it's by the same place there. Let's see. Oh man, it's a long day today at work. Yeah, pickup only at Nabi. Yep. Otherwise, you pay the regular old price. So, I mean, with the discounts and stuff, I mean, everybody that bought stuff at the show, I mean, I think, but if you buy enough, you end up saving on the cost of your ticket. I mean, just depends on what you're buying. Cost of your tickets. By the time you've, done the Brian at Flower Street there, when he loads his whole car down, or Paul loads his whole car down, they probably saved enough to pay for their ticket, at least to offset the price of the ticket.
Yeah.
My bees are all out and flying today. All my colonies look pretty active today, so pretty good.
Yeah. Well, mine was all in because of it raining here and all that. So, but so how was work today? Your great Friday.
Third Friday of the week. It was busy. It's always like on Friday, nobody, they call it the last minute, and then they want to be serviced at the last minute on the last day, which I kind of get because of work schedules and whatnot. But, is what it is.
Hey, Alex.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't do any of the Ross rounds this year. I meant to. I wanted to with that Saracel Ross round frame, but I didn't end up doing any. With the expansion, it was too hard for me to make wax as it was.
yeah. Brian says he lost it all in gas.
Yeah, that's the only thing about this year's show coming up that I don't care about really is the fact that it's further away. But you guys had to all drive far away last year, but this is further for you as well this year, right?
Yep.
So closer for like
And
Brian.
I guess maybe it's one thing that concerns me is the way I need to get there is through quite a bit of mountain range.
So possible snow and
Yeah,
stuff like
there's a possible snow problem there through West Virginia. Whereas when I went to Tennessee, I went and got up on Interstate 81. I'm familiar with the road, and you're more so in a valley, the Shenandoah Valley, and
that.
you
Right.
stayed out of the up and down hill mountain type of stuff. And it was farther south, which helped. So I don't know, just I'm like you say, I'm not, of course, it's a new town. I know there's no real, um, not a lot of touristy type stuff. Not that I was looking for that, but, and then also the hours of this show is different too. Thursdays, Thursday, I think it's from 1 to 5 in the afternoon instead of the evening.
Right.
So I've been considering instead of one travel day as of Wednesday, instead of pushing myself hard to get there in one day, maybe start on a Tuesday and go about halfway or three quarters, as far as I can get. And all it says 9 hours, 9.5 hours. This time you take gas, you're going to make a pit stop, you're going to get gas, you're going to get something to eat. Well, there goes an hour or two right there on top of the travel time. So for me, it's 12 hours, I consider.
Yeah, it's not much difference.
After driving 6 or 7 hours in a day, it's like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm ready to quit. At least I am. I don't know how like Mark Miller in the truck driving business. I don't see how he does it. I don't see how any of them guys do it 8 hours a day.
James and his 18-hour treks. Charlie, maybe Monday, Honeybee Compound said.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun to see everybody again.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on the other chat before I came here, and the lady on the other chat, she said, I'm getting a long hive or whatever. And there's this guy down in North Carolina named Rourke. Like, I said, yeah, I know, Ricky. He said he's going to be in some place in Kentucky. You know, that you could pick the hive up there. And he said, that the place you're talking about where you're going to? And I'm like, yeah, Diane. You know, I don't know. She's out of it.
The no, the smoking headaches are pretty much gone there, Brian. Now I'm gonna start working more on less caffeine, and trying to make it go. I still haven't smoked, so doing good on that front. I don't even know how long it's been. 3 weeks, maybe a month now. I don't remember when I stopped, but it's definitely better than it was.
11 hours drive time and 14 hours on duty. I still don't know how you stand it. But anyway, she was, contemplating where to pick this thing up at. And I said, well, I think you'd be better off from where she's coming from, Pennsylvania, just go down 81 North Carolina where he lives.
Pick it up. By the time you drive all the way out to Louisville and then bring it back, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Brian wants to know any good deals at Nobby. I haven't seen anything. Of course, I'm not really looking for to buy anything.
Yeah, the only things, stuff that I'm looking to pick up are only regular use stuff like frames or foundation or something like that. Everything else I'll pretty much have ordered before then, probably.
Well, it's like I got my Foxhound suit and they're going to be there, and it's like, I need it now, not months from now.
How'd you like that one when you got it?
I like it. I like the way it looks and it feels and the pockets and stuff. It's a little bit, the zippering, I have to kind of get used to that, especially the hooded area. And Lynn wants to know, you're going to do Facebook Live or videos? I never did Facebook Live. I might do some videos of Nobby. I did do a lot of YouTube stuff from the last Hive Life. But now the only thing I'll have to say, this time around, last year or this year, I guess you would call it, I didn't really get to go through the vendor area and go to each table and look over things in detail. And I think I felt like I missed out there. And so I'm not going to do as many videos or try to do a big multiple video thing.
Last year, Lee and I did a lot of little lives during when people were over there having their lectures in the show, thinned out, right? Then we would do a live in between. Yeah, the Carolina Reaper honey came out really well. I let a guy try it at work today, and he's from one of the corporate offices, and he's coming back down next week, and he said, oh, I think I'm going to buy some of those from you next week, hot honey. So it's pretty goes pretty good once you get someone to try it, but until you get them to try it, they're like, hot honey, what is that? They haven't really thought about it.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a lot of checking out the trade show. And the trade show is even going to be bigger, like
150 or so, right?
130, 150 people or vendors.
I'm the same way. I didn't really watch many of the speakers last year. I was mainly in the trade show all weekend talking to people.
I watched Bob Benny and I watched Ian a little bit, and the rooms are so big that it wasn't. I mean, they did have videos and stuff, but a lot of times it was hard to,
Hard to hear.
hard to hear sometimes, hard to see the videos, and like you say, you can watch it on YouTube, type of thing. You already know what they're going to talk about. So,
I think,
Mhm.
I think most people, that went last year, it was more to me of a opportunity to meet all you guys, right? That was the fun for me.
Yeah, I had more. I had more fun, like for us when we all went out to dinner and stuff like that, and just
hanging out and joking and everything.
yeah, I really enjoyed that the most of all. I'll be back. I gotta get my phone.
But the show, I mean, whoops. Let me see. We're just that was the thing to me was getting to meet Lee. That was fun. Charlie, Earl, Brad, Paul, a lot of different people that we met on the stream. Russell Koopman, got to meet him, and people I wouldn't have got to meet otherwise. So that was one of the fun parts there. Yeah, Charlie went to go get his cell phone. He'll be back in a minute. It's his show. Yeah, that's me. I've started to slow down on my day job and speed up on my apiary. Todd, what's going on?
Not much. I'm trying to disappear.
Storms in the background there.
Yeah. What'd you do? Run Charlie off?
Yeah, he went to go get his phone.
Yeah.
Apparently, he'll let anybody run this stream.
Oh.
So, how's things been going for you?
I was busy today. I started cleaning up my messy room out there at the farm, and I am not joking you. I killed at least 15 black widows because I had lids laying around and this and that. And that picture I sent you earlier, what I thought was a high beetle, because it looked like one to me. Thank God it wasn't. But I'd lift up a lid and they'd scatter like all over the place, and I was able to capture a picture of one. But I pick up boxes, lids, and this and that, and underneath it, there's a black widow, and then I had one that jumped off the lid before I could get it with the hive tool, and the damn thing was trying to get under my pant leg. If I wasn't wearing boots, I'd have had a black widow run around up there, and I was like, no.
Todd might know about this because he's been using some VSH this year. I didn't do that test, so you reading it?
That's more of a Mark question. I'm really, to be honest with you, I'm just letting them go. They're doing great. I've watched them drag pupae out of cells, but and they're recapping and knocking down the cappings. So that in itself would be success because you're stopping the mating cycle for the mite. The 2-inch test, I haven't done anything like that.
You haven't done the little circle. What do they call that test? I haven't used it.
they use the whatchamacallit, liquid nitrogen, little PVC pipe. You burrow it into the comb and then pour liquid nitrogen. But no, I haven't done that.
Yeah, that's pretty involved. Where you kill the brood and then you go back in so many hours and see how much they pulled out.
I'm gonna have to get
2 hours.
I'm gonna have to get Mark to send me some queens this next year so I can give the old VSH a test. I've talked pretty critical of it in the past, and the only way I can get over that is to try it myself, right?
Yep.
See the difference. Yep. Yeah, the UBO test, that's the one. Harbo assay. So that's but not critical.
I pre-ordered that, but I talked to that gal. I forgot her name via email. What's that?
Michael there.
Oh. I guess I could email her back and order some, but for now I'm not going to do it because I've got the VSH in there, and I know it. I wouldn't do the UBO on those hives, but I don't know. I thought it's a good idea. I get that. It's awesome concept, but
I think that's more for queen breeders myself.
Yeah.
To really dial it in and all.
Well, it's a good tool for any beekeeper really who wants to be self-sustaining. You want to pick the traits that best resemble VSH. And that's just a tool to find out which hives do. So.
Right.
So is a mite shake, though, right? I mean, if you did a mite shake, you would always be selecting from the ones that had the lowest mites, right? That would give you the.
Let me look at something here. I
didn't mean to put you on the spot with that. I just don't have the experience on,
Oh, no worries. I subscribe to this guy's channel. He's up in Vermont. Hall apiaries. And he was talking about this topic, his last video that came out a day ago. And it's titled Nucleus Colonies, Mite Resistance, and VSH. And he was talking about, now I can't remember exactly, but he was talking about the mite washes and how we shouldn't be dependent on washing 1 or 2 mites and thinking, we're okay. So I'll have to rewatch it because I watched.
You say that, and it's like Bob says, and myself. All right, you go through there and you're washing 1 mite, 2 mites. Are you still not going to treat? Yeah, you're going to treat. You're going to treat anyway.
Yeah. And I did that last weekend where I was washing 1s and 2s. Do I feel like I don't have a problem? No, because I have mites. It's also, you think about it, you pick one of the frames which just might be, starting to hatch, but you might have another frame that just finished hatching, and you've got all the mites on there, but you're not testing it. You're getting the beast from that one frame, and there might not be as many mites on it because not everything is hatched. So, it's kind of a crapshoot, but it's also a good test.
It's the only test.
Yeah. Well, there's the other one that don't do anything, and
that's the one I subscribe to.
See what happens.
That don't do anything, you just treat them. But I guess if it's all we've got, that makes it the best as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best that we've got. So, if you're gonna, then you just have to be consistent in the way that you do it and do it the same way each time.
Yeah. But yeah, the guy up in Vermont, he had some interesting thoughts on mite washes, And like I said, I watched it late last night when I was tired, so I don't remember the exact thing. I'll probably have to go back and look at it later on. But he had an interesting perspective on mite washing.
Charlie, what you eating?
A little bit of popcorn.
Mm.
He said he was going to get the phone. I bet you had to go pop the microwave.
Yeah.
I did get the phone, but I went and got some popcorn while I was at it.
I'm fresh out. I got to make some if I get some.
Mm.
Let me see. Yep, that's what Brian said. After treating and counting all of the mites that drop, and still see that my mite wash shows 1, and there's over 200 mites dropping during a treatment, I think I'll keep treating. That's kind of my philosophy too. So at some point, if that's my thing was, so you wash before, you wash after. So now you've killed 600. Then you treat again. Then you wash again. Right now you've killed 900.
Yeah.
So it just, just keep treating. Of course, it does let you, kind of get an idea, I guess.
Well, yeah. If your whole bottom of your cup is full of mites, you got a problem right there without even having to count. It identifies the bombs for sure. But what we have to do now, so have to get used to it, I guess. I think that's what didn't Brad say that's where he kind of misstepped in not doing mite washes after his treatments. I think that's what he said. So,
but it does let you know. Let's assume that the test is accurate, and then you shake and you test after. I mean, you can get an idea, right? If it's accurate. So it's just whether or not you want to do that or not.
Just gives you an idea. I think it's best
way to put it. Just an idea.
Definitely not the last word. Yeah, no. BSH colony, the mite wash doesn't show that it's a BSH colony. And you know what? I haven't washed those hives yet. I am letting them go. They built up amazing. I got them in June. I took one full box off of one hive and probably another box and a half total off the other two. And that was above the second box. So the third box, they were filling up the third box. And but I let them go. I didn't wash them. I didn't do anything. I just let them sit there and added boxes. And so if they're sitting there in January, February probably, and they're still going at it, then I'll start checking mite levels, or I'll do a mite wash to see where I'm at.
Well, I know the way my bees look currently, they do look pretty good. I mean, yeah, we're always going to have that outlier colony where for some reason it just doesn't look like the rest of them, right? So I've got one or two of those, but for the most part, I got some boxes of bees out there, so yeah, I'm not stressing the smaller ones.
Mine are in good shape. Knock on wood. Famous last words. We'll see.
Yeah, Lynn was talking about if we don't wash, then we might run the risk of resistance. Well, that's depend. I think a lot of that is also how many different types of products you're using.
Well,
for me, I'm going to use 3 different products throughout the season.
so I just saw this comment, right? So with Russell asking Brad where the Apivar strips he used, the old ones or the Easy Tear new strips. So here's my thing as far as the consumer side of that is if the company knows there's an issue. To give you an example, with Apis Biologics, when I brought something up to Andrew, and he, at the first inkling that there might have possibly been an issue, he had me send everything back, right? He didn't even care. He's just like, send it all back. I'll send you all new stuff. So if there's a potential that there's an issue with the old strips, why are they still selling them? Why haven't they pulled all of those and replaced them? It shouldn't, that question should never even be an issue, right? But like the ones that I've used this year were the old ones that I got at Hive Life. And, and now the ones that I used the tablets in, they were new nukes from this year. So this was the first time they were getting treated. And you could tell they dropped a ton of mites. But why with a name brand? Yeah, they don't want to screw up in lawsuits. Exactly.
CYA.
But there's
that was something like what Ian stated was, last year he had the old strips and he had mite issues, something terrible. And this year now he's washing, ones and zeros. So so it must be a new delivery method, the way I look at it.
Or they found a way of it to make it more consistent, right? I mean, basically it's plastic with Amatraz in it, or coated with Amatraz. And I believe, and I don't want to misquote Brad because he's not on the stream, but I believe he was talking about some of his bees might actually be becoming Amatraz resistant. Not his bees, but the mites, sorry. Amatraz resistant over there. So there is that. But I haven't heard of oxalic acid.
Right there it is.
All right, there he goes.
The lab did that, not him. As far as resistance goes.
Sure. You got the loudest popcorn. That popcorn is just crunch, crunch, crunch. You can hear it loud tonight. You got a good mic.
Must be the new popcorn, not the old popcorn.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not the Charlie resistant popcorn. Charlie's not popcorn resistant yet.
Lynn, just leave those Appy tabs in there all winter.
Yeah, just leave them on there.
Remember, most of it is sugar. They'll eat it.
No harm to leave it.
So, Lynn, how's Lloyd doing?
This is the problem with reading the comments.
Yeah, I know.
In dead air, and that's usually when Bob fills in and when everybody tells Bob to be quiet because he's talking too much. Now you know. That's why.
Oh, man. Well, it was a nice day here. think it was 71 or 72 degrees.
Got up to 79 here today.
Yeah, it was nice.
And then
Gonna
it
rain.
wanted to rain. Yeah, it wanted to rain.
It's supposed to rain like hell on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll see about that. Kind of why I was out there cleaning up. I don't want anything to get wet out there.
Brad does cut comb. I haven't done any. Charlie, you don't do cut comb, do you?
No, I did get a couple sets of Ross rounds, but I never got time to put them in this year. I was too busy. I had too many queen issues in the honey hives this year.
Just leave them in, Lynn.
Yeah, don't worry about them.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about them. It's not going to do anything to the bees. They're just going to be clustered up to the point they're not going to be eating anything anyway, probably.
Yeah.
And to me, they almost act like a sugar brick at that point. Just a little extra food in there.
Thank you, Darren.
$11.10. Buy yourself some quiet popcorn. Too much fun.
Yeah, it's kind of it's, I won't say boring, but where we don't have a lot to talk about because there's, we're shutting down on our bees and stuff. And Brad thought that was funny.
Well, I started another batch last night.
Yeah, your creamed honey sales are going pretty well, if you ask me.
They're going a little crazy, yeah. So I have a batch of cinnamon going and a batch of peanut butter.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow, or I'd be out there trying to hustle some honey. So, there was a question. I saw some, but I think it was Brian at Flower Street sent me a thing, or saw on the chat last night, said that he had finally claimed his business off of Google. And, and the whole Facebook thing, right? Some people don't Facebook, they say, and I get it. Personally, not the Facebook. That's a choice, right? But I think business-wise, not to Facebook is a bad thing. I want to use your example, Todd, if it's all right. The other day you messaged me and you said that you posted up in your local Facebook group about the creamed honey, and I'll let you finish the story on what happened.
Yeah, so I put a posting up early in the morning, and I had 8 sold in a matter of minutes. Throughout the day, I sold, I think I sold 15. And I sold out of peanut butter. So there's a couple people that wanted a couple jars of peanut butter. So I told them, it'll be another week and a half. But it's catapulted me a little bit. Now it's, from 0 to 15, a nice little increase.
Now, is that where you have to mail it to them?
No. So in my neighborhood, we have a neighborhood Facebook group. So everybody that lives in the neighborhood here, and there's 3 or 4 homes, or 300 or 400 homes in the tract I'm at. But yeah, so they'll get on Facebook and
Well, you're not really chaining your business to Facebook. You're just using it for advertising. Correct. It's just letting people know you have it, and that's the biggest struggle. Alex has a great product, but if he can't reach people other than his office, then he's kind of in that little bubble that you're only supplying them, right? So just putting it on there that you have it. A lot of times we'll sell some and just they'll come pick it up. I mean, I do it.
Yeah.
They swing by and pick it up. It doesn't. It's not
I
like
get-
you know, I'm on there
Well,
constantly.
I need some peanut butter honey.
Yeah, I'll mail
you-
some to you.
Did you get Carl's peanut butter honey?
I haven't got anything. He had to make another batch of either peanut butter or the other stuff he had. I think is it pie or what, or apple pie or something like that?
Yeah,
Hey,
no.
I was going to answer Russell. Russell asked me a question about it being as warm today. Were they bringing in pollen? Yeah, they were bringing in pollen, but the baskets weren't very full. You could just see basically pollen stripes on their legs. So it won't be too long until they won't have anything to get. It's starting to get into upper 30s at night here. We haven't had a freeze yet, but
What's Brian or DC talking about where Facebook canceled a person?
Oh, that's probably something political. I don't know. I know they were going through during the last elections and, you know, doing the same thing they were all doing, basically censoring people. But it's just another tool. I don't have to get on there and socialize and read everything. I use it when I want to use it. I put it on there, say, hey, I got honey. Come and get it if you want it. It's not, it has nothing to do with any political other than, hey, come buy honey for me when it comes to that.
and see
All right.
the rules of my neighborhood are every Wednesday you could put something up on the group to sell. They have a separate buy, sell, and trade page for the same neighborhood group, and I haven't even thought about putting honey on there yet, which I should. But you know, I give them the option of me delivering or them swinging by after work to pick it up, and usually they don't have a problem with me dropping it off at the house. They Venmo me or they give me cash when I'm there, and there you go.
I'm sitting here. I'm Googling Brian's business
6.
to try to give him a Google review, and it pops up his website. Then it pops up his Facebook. Then it pops up his Instagram. Then it pops up his YouTube, and then some of his videos, and then MapQuest on how to get there. So when you search for him, you can find him. That's the main thing about that. There's also another thing, and it was called Local Honey.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that the other day.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I registered with it, and localhoneyfinder.org. And someone called me because they found me on Local Honey Finder. And I don't know if it's just my state or what, but they definitely found me. Let's see if I can go home, close that, see if it's just.
See you, Lee.
No, they have state there. Let's see, Colorado. Metro Denver, right? That's where Brian is, Metro Denver. Oh,
I'm not sure.
Boulder, Adams, Arapahoe County. Wonder how you get on that list. I don't remember how I got on the list.
There's Doug.
Didn't he just reach out to you out of the blue?
Yeah, he just reached out to me out of the blue and found me there.
Who's that?
A customer. He just found me off of localhoneyfinder.org. Let's see.
Metro
So
Denver.
So when you click Denver metro area, it says Adams County, Arapahoe, Boulder County, and one person's saying Cure Organic Farm, Pinion Ridge Ranch, and Palombo Farms Market, which they're selling orange blossom honey, which is a real trick in Colorado. So I want to know how they got local orange blossom honey in Colorado.
They grow it out in the desert.
Littleton, Douglas County, Elbert County, Jefferson County. Denver County has nobody listed. Broomfield County has nobody listed. Add or update an apiary, so you can add one on there. And some people, I guess, just Google it and it comes up. Let's see, South Carolina. How many people are in South Carolina? Richland County.
My biggest concern here lately, I've been thinking about it, is there's a guy right up the road. He quit selling honey. I used to sell him bees. He's directing his customers to me, and I'm averaging 15 to 20 pounds of honey a week.
So
which is pretty good money. I mean, that's nice little income coming in every week. And it's like, okay, am I going to run out before come July of next year?
And I'm the only one listed in my county on this website. So there's an opportunity there. So let me see. Let me go to
especially when you don't have I'll say a storefront. That's one thing that I have that most people don't. I actually have a business storefront in a way.
There you go.
I'm located on a major highway and all.
But it's pretty neat, when people contact you and then they come by. Sometimes, I guess, if there's a frustrating side, is people say, okay, I'm coming by tomorrow. And when I first started doing it, I would kind of wait for them. But I try to nail them down on a time. Okay, you're going to be here at 5. So if you haven't contacted me back saying I'm running late or something, I don't typically just hang around for people. If I got to run to the store or something, I'm just going to do what I got to do.
Right. I don't know. I had a lady today. She came in and she had called me because somebody said, she was looking for local honey in there. I think her husband, or I said, well, it's right there at the mill around the corner from her. So she had called and left a message on the on the business line. So, so anyway, she finally showed up. Bought a pound.
Bought a pound from you. I really, surprisingly enough, my first few years, I was selling a bunch of 1 pound jars. I mean, that was primarily what I was selling, 1 pounders. But as soon as I started offering it in 1.5 pounds and 3 pounds, I've sold many more of those this year than I have the smaller jars.
Well, I mean, when I first started out, I had the 8-ounce bears, which are half a pound. Well, they'll come in, they're leery, they want to taste the honey. I said, well, here's a $5. They'll waste $5, on the tasting, I guess you would call it. As soon as they taste it, then they're back and they're buying 1, 2s, or 3s. And now this year, it seems like there's been a lot more people buying 3s and 3-pounders, which is interesting. And it's like you in your quarts, you started out with 1s, and now, okay, he's got good honey. I'm going to buy quarts.
Well, if you think about it with the quarts, it's a little bit, I don't have to bottle as many, right? because it takes more honey, so I don't have to.
Well,
spend as much time behind the bottle.
myself, if you look at the bottle, the lid, the label, if you're selling 3 1-pounders, that's 3 labels, 3 lids, 3 bottles, where you reduced by 2 labels, 2 lids, 2 bottles, and plus all the other stickers too. Hey,
So,
Brian.
End up a little bit of savings, I guess, there.
Mm-hmm. Some people, I mean, had one lady, she wanted to know whether she could bring her plastic bottle back and get it refilled. And I'm like, I'm not sure about whether that would be a good idea or not. Now, when it came to glass, I could, you know, a lot of times I got one lady that buys $400 worth of honey, you know, and she's bringing in these half-gallon jugs and a lot. I smell them and I'm like, okay, I need to wash these things. They just don't smell right. You know,
They don't pass the smell test. Give her new ones.
well, some of them had like, let's say what do you call it? Sun tea and that kind of stuff in there, iced tea that you stick out there and you got that smell from that in there. And I'm like, you know, let's wash these things. And when they come out of the dishwasher, you know, and you got really hot, you know, hot heat on the water, it will kill any bacteria or whatever. And all. So,
you know what I do? Sometimes the ladies will bring back their 1-pound jars, and I'll instruct them, hey, when you bring it back, put a piece of tape on it and put your name on there, just so you know I'm giving you back your bottle, and I'll fill it up right there. It won't touch anything, you know. So I just
is it a glass jar?
No, plastic.
Really?
A squeeze bottle, 1-pound squeeze bottles, and then I'll put a new cap on there and give it to her, you know, and away she goes. And so what I do is I sell those for 10, right? I said, hey, if you bring this back to me, I'll knock $1 off the next time.
But you still got to replace the lid, so that costs you X number of cents, right?
What is that, 29 cents?
No. Should be. Huh?
They weren't that expensive.
They were like 5 cents.
Oh.
No, I think they're like 17 cents. But you get 1,700 of them for, well, maybe it's less. Let's see.
But you know what I mean. So you know, I'm not out another bottle. Matter of fact, I filled it up twice, so it's, you know, to me that's a pretty good deal. I got $19 out of that one-pound jar or squeeze bottle.
Well, now you got also a figure if you get it from Gamber where I'm not paying shipping. So that saves a lot of money right there.
Yeah, I paid for shipping because I don't have an affiliate or someone close by here, so
yeah, the shipping gets me too. I need to start using more of those 1-pounders, but I'm trying to leave as much of it as I can in the bottling tank. That way it doesn't crystallize.
Well, when it does, there's your seed. You know, I'm almost out of those 1-pound squeeze jars.
Alex, full of words tonight. Comes on, he's like the silent movie actor in the whole thing.
I mean, I don't have much to say. Like, my bees have been sleeping for a month, so.
Well, you should be Johnny on the spot with this here creamed honey, and you should be telling us, you know, how you're making batches and maybe.
Well, I have to slow down because I read up the rules in Quebec for selling honey, and it's a freaking maze.
So you should just call all your beekeeping friends up there and say, how many times has the honey police showed up at their place?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like for example, to get an agricultural producer's number, I have to list a building of exploitation, a minimum amount of like I have to have a minimum amount of revenue or potential revenue. I got this. I got a list. The
you have
land
any
I
client
own or
calls?
rent. I don't either. And it's like a mandatory thing. I don't rent and I don't own. So I need somebody who's done this before to help me out. So I'm thinking about reaching out to somebody else who has bees because I don't know what to answer. I don't own agricultural land and I don't rent agricultural land. I just plop my bees on somebody else's land without rental.
You can't just put a zero in that spot when they ask you what your rent is. Zero.
Put $1. Put one. And then
Do you
give it
swap
to
They
them,
them.
don't
honey?
ask for the amounts. They ask for an address and like a plot number for what you rent or own.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Pay the guy $1. Mark down the address. Tell him what's going on. And there you go. Jump to one hurdle, Alex. On to the next.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
But I found this out like this afternoon, so I can't do this on the weekend. There's no point.
Yeah, but I mean, where are you going? You're going to some government place or something, or somebody telling you
First,
this?
I'm going to answer Brad's question. Nobody, because I found out like at 3:30 this afternoon that I need to do this stuff. So I didn't have time to reach out anybody. Like it was all closed. So I'm either gonna try and speak to a beekeeper I've spoken before tomorrow afternoon, so it's not in the like middle of dinner time or something. If not, I'll try contact the lady at the Minister of Agriculture again and ask for some guidance.
Mm.
Because yeah, it's
I feel like the Wild West of beekeeping down here in America. We just
well,
do.
you started good.
We just do. It's like, the government says I got to do this. Sorry, I didn't know. Okay, now I'll do it. Right? Ask for forgiveness.
I think that's what I would do, Alex. I'd just keep on going and try to sell
I
some.
probably could get away with this with the amounts I have.
That's what I say. You're just a nothing, you know. I mean, compared to you're not selling 60,000 pounds of honey or nothing like that.
Yeah, but it's well, it's risky. That's what I mean. So I'm gonna inform myself at least with other beekeepers.
See, there's this thing we do here in the States is plausible deniability. There's a good chance that I didn't know about it, so I just went with it and get hit with it after the fact. Because sometimes what I find is when you call these places, you're actually putting yourself on the radar instead of staying underneath it, right? Oh, well, what was his name? Where's he at? What's his location? What's he trying to do? And if they have to find you and figure it out, it's a much, Brad says ask for forgiveness. It's but if you consult them too much, you're just getting more and more on their radar. In my opinion, that's been my experience.
Yeah, that crossed my mind. If I keep poking at them, they might look like they're going to be aware I exist.
Yep.
So I guess if I had advice, it would be call the beekeepers first and then get their advice and then go to the Minister of Agriculture, not the Minister of Agriculture first and then back to the beekeeper. Do the
Now, see
beekeeper
here,
first.
Doug's daughter-in-law, she posted on Facebooks that she was going to a next town over, a couple hours away, and 178 pounds of honey orders came in because she was going that way, to deliver.
Wow.
So there's a good good advertising thing.
That's the
There you go, Alex. You do Facebook. You got Facebook up there?
Look what Mark said.
I don't use it. That's the thing. I like. I don't know if I should depend solely on word of mouth, because using Facebook just plasters me. Like, it makes me easier to find. That's what I mean. For clients, yes, that's good. Well, the government can do the same. So if I start selling too much honey,
Alex, I seriously doubt there's someone sitting in an office scrolling and trolling through Facebook looking for people selling honey or anything else.
The only time you're going to get in trouble is when you're saying, "I hate the Canadian president" or something like
yeah.
that.
Well,
I'm going to go out there and try
people
to hunt him
do.
down.
so if let's use Brad. So if you and Brad were in the same town and you were selling honey on the side, or Brad was selling honey on the side, who do you think is the bigger fish? Right? I don't think they're looking for the guy that's selling onesies and twosies illegally, right? They're looking for the guy that's selling hundreds and hundreds of pounds of honey illegally. So that's one thing. When I was in pharmaceuticals, they were very particular about our company dotting the I's and crossing the T's, because we were the big fish, right? Kim, never disrespect Kim Jong.
I just read Brad's comment.
And DC has a valid point. I'm used to being watched. I live in California.
Right.
So, but you know what? Russell said something about his creamed honey that got pulled in stores. Here's the thing with stores. I read that. I don't do stores because that's just that's a different level of exposure that I don't want to deal with right now. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say anything else. But
yeah,
because
somebody that bought some of my honey before came to me with an offer with like his I don't know if he's in college or university club, either one. He said they wanted some of my honey, but that might be too much exposure.
I wouldn't worry about that.
You think they're buying 3 jars of honey from you? I doubt they're going to run to the Minister of Agriculture and be like, "Oh, I just bought 3 jars from this guy down in Quebec, and he's illegally selling it to me." If you got the labeling and everything correct, like you're supposed to, which I know you do.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
Half of the stuff that I sell doesn't have labels on it. I mean, they don't. Here, matter of fact, I said, "Hold on, let me get you labeled." Dad, don't worry about it. It's just an added expense for you. They don't
have that too.
They don't care. They don't. Just sell it, bro.
Just sell it. Just and ask for forgiveness. Just like what Mark said earlier. You know, if he made 20,000 off bees this year, he'll tell you, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, you know, I had no idea. You know, just play dumb, and then ask for forgiveness. "Oh, I didn't know." No, I wasn't completely aware of the laws or the rules or whatever.
Usually, the first letter you'll get is you have 30 days to comply or something like that. And you're like, "Oh, I don't know how it is in Canada. I'm just saying here, they'll give you some time to."
They're not going to throw you in beekeeper jail right away. You know,
Shank, I'll get a spoon to carve the wall.
Right. Like, you talk like you're going to end up in Shawshank for selling a jar of honey.
Yeah, no.
My challenge to you, Alex, to find reasons or ways to do things, not ways to not do things. Because we'll bring up a suggestion, and the first thing you'll say is, "Oh, but the Department of Agriculture." Bro, find a way to work around that, like every other red-blooded person in the world is trying to do.
Yeah, you're getting in your own way.
Yeah, you see what Doug says?
Getting in your way.
Doug says, They will never bother with backyard sales, Alex. And he sells barrels and barrels and barrels of honey.
Yeah, I mean, he produces, I think it was this year, he says 66,000 pounds of honey.
I wouldn't worry, Alex. Just don't highlight yourself to the agricultural minister or whatever. Just leave it be. Just proceed as normal until you're notified otherwise.
All right.
But in the meantime, while it's winter time, you said you had some seed there. Keep making that seed.
Keep spreading your seed, Alex, everywhere you can.
And basswood, like creamed basswood honey, is
What?
crazy good. It's like silk. It's amazing.
Why wouldn't this be funny?
And that should be your goal this winter. Share that with as many people as will pay you for it.
Wouldn't this be funny if the government lawyers in Canada bring up this video in court and show all the examples of what we were telling them to do, which are against the law in Canada? You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be funny to hear Bob say, "Oh, spread your seed everywhere, Alex"? And I don't know. Never mind. I'll go away.
But no, I mean, take the time and build your the more creamed honey, let's say so many gallons of it or whatever. Then take that and take very small jars of it, I'll say, and mix. You already know how to do cinnamon to get the right consistency, and then do some other flavors that you think will sell and experiment with that. Go around to your neighbors or whatever and say, taste this to see what do you here's a tasting spoon.
Yeah,
Dip in
pumpkin
there.
spice honey is dangerously good.
Huh?
Pumpkin spice honey is dangerously good. It's.
But has everybody else has tasted it
Yeah.
and said that to you?
Yes.
All right.
One
Well,
person,
there you go.
two
Cha-ching,
people
there's
tasted.
a sale. There's a sale there.
Yeah, they're coming back for more. That's for sure.
Well, good. That's what you
What you want to
want.
hear? Yeah.
You want, number one, you want positive feedback. If it's good or negative, and that way you can change your the chemistry of how much stuff you want to put in there. Get your.
You're sitting on $14,000 if you got 1,400 pounds worth of creamed honey.
But formulate your stuff that and tweak it and get it down. What I know that for a pound, or not a pound, but let's say for a half a gallon or a gallon of creamed honey, and I'm going to make cinnamon, I need to put this amount of cinnamon in there for it to all work out, or peanut butter, or whatever flavor you're going to go for.
All right, now we got a pro in here.
Now here's a pro. Now I want you to listen to him. Whoop, back. There he goes.
Hey, Doug.
Now
See,
Doug's making 40 gallons of creamed honey at every batch. Okay. And all that. And then are you flavoring it, Doug? Or is it just pure cream?
My daughter.
What? Go ahead.
He's on a long delay.
He's got the delay tonight.
The thing Alex wants to do is get a Facebook page with your bee yard name. When you do that, just run a small contest. How many hives I've got? The winner gets a jar of your honey. And then you get a bunch of followers. You just post, I'm running a batch of honey. Who needs it? And they'll be coming to you on steady.
So it doesn't even have to be your own. It could just be a business page, not even a personal page on Facebook for your apiary.
Yeah.
And we'll all meet down at the street corner at this time, and then
Michelle,
you can come and buy your.
Michelle runs one on Facebook, Longman's Apiaries. Just go there and see how it works.
All right, thank you. Long
The,
ways, okay.
It's. I'm going to be sitting back here one day. Alex is going to be like, "Man, I'm out of honey. I've already sold it all." Sitting back. It's like I can't wait to spring coming, so we can start making some more honey. And then you can do it full time, Alex.
And when you're doing it full time, the government will be very happy to take some of your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I gotta get established. I need a honey house. I need a pickup. Well, first a pickup, then a honey house.
Yeah, but you can work out of what you got now and build up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like your kitchen.
that's the
It's like,
point.
you know, it's like your KitchenAid mixer. You know, it works. It does the job for you right now. And then as you get bigger and you make some money, then you can buy a licensed creamer like Doug's got. You know, everybody's got to start at someplace, but just keep on with it.
Oh yeah, we're encouraging you. Hopefully, we don't want you to get off and be like those guys. I'm not going on there ever again because that's not the goal for sure. We're trying to motivate you to get it going, make that money.
Like Brad says there, you need to make inventory. That's what I've been trying. That's what I've been trying to say.
I did. I have several batches of the flavored honey.
Mm-hmm.
I have like cases, 6 cases made
Is that in jars or is that just like
in jars. It's packed and labeled already.
Okay, cool.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
James says he's just about out of honey right now.
Yeah, and he had 15,000 pounds of honey. I think it was something like that.
He
You're
had
gonna
a metric shit ton load. Metric. Never mind. You get it.
Or you and
Or
Doug can
like
hook
Charlie
up.
said,
Go ahead, Doug.
you get a clientele that follow you, don't you, Charlie?
Yeah. I mean, it took me 5 years to kind of get going, but now here, well, I had a lot of competition for liquid honey, and one of my competitions went out of business, and he's sending everybody to me. So I used to sell him nukes and stuff like that. But actually, to be quite honest, and I wouldn't say nothing to the public, but he was going up to Gamber and buying 5-gallon buckets of honey and then reselling it. You know, now see, Alex, that's what you could do. If you're getting a little low, I'm sure Doug here can wholesale you some creamed honey.
Yeah, but in what part of Canada are you, Doug?
Don't matter. He can drive there and get it.
Yeah, I'm in Saskatchewan.
That's a bit far from Quebec.
But about three quarters of our clientele are repeat customers.
Because that's 3,000 kilometers from me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can also find someone in your area as well.
Just find local guys.
That's probably going to be easier.
Was there
Yeah.
any beekeepers that are as big as Doug in your area?
I don't know how many hives Doug has, but there's Miel de Marque. Sorry, it's in French. He has roughly 200 hives, I think.
Well, Doug's bigger than that. He's got 350.
I don't know the exact number, so I can't. Might be more.
It don't really matter. The main thing is you know.
I like that. Now, what are you gonna do, Brad? I mean, don't keep your hands.
That's
in
what
your
they
pocket.
do. That's what they do here. Lady come in, gave me $10.
Yep.
You know, I sold, like I say, I sold $200 worth just this week, and it's been pretty consistent every week.
Yeah, because the goal is to get established, have the facilities so I can go there full time, and then I assume then get all the registration done, and when I
Exactly.
get
Right
large
now,
enough volume.
right now you're, well, you've number one, you found your niche, and that's creamed honey. You can do that in the small setting that you have, which is your apartment. You don't need a lot of big room. And now you got, what is it, 30 hives now, something like that. You're coming along. All right. Next year, they're not all production hives this year, but hopefully a good portion of them will be next year. So now you're going to have more honey coming in. And like I say, develop your number one, your market. Number two, your different flavors. And just, I don't know. I guess I mean, I don't know much about Facebook, but as far as trying to sell something, but do you have a community page in your area there? Like Bob or Todd has a
Oh, yeah.
Facebook page?
No, I don't. I don't use Facebook. I might start to, but for now I don't use it.
Well,
I
start.
do have it. Like I finally got my business cards delivered.
Yay!
Woo!
Hey, it's the right direction, you know? And all, you know,
Establish your clientele.
now it's trying to establish clientele and you know,
Yeah, that's why I prefer word of mouth over like official publicity because it allows you to stay under the radar.
yeah, but you got to get out there, but you got to advertise a little bit somehow
To get people to start telling other people about you.
to get people to tell other people and that kind of thing. You know, I mean, I have 3 honey signs. I'm located on a corner of a there he is, like there.
Hey, Brian.
Second time in. But I got signs on. I'm on a sort of a major state highway, and I got it at my 2 different driveway entrances off of a county road and a state highway road, and then I have it right there where my office is, and they see the signs and stop in, and then other people tell other people about it. I got one guy that calls me up. Are you home? Yeah, I'm home. You know, 2 pounds. You know, I got my phone number on the label. I says, call me after business hours, which is 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. So how's Brian doing?
Good. What's happening?
Oh, not
Not
much.
much.
We're promoting Alex here as the king of cream.
I'm hearing this.
And
He's going to corner the market.
He spelled
he's
Ola wrong.
he's going to be the French marketeer. Hey, Catherine, thank you very much.
Did I spell Ola wrong?
Yeah, you got a little heavy on the L's.
Oh, okay. Well,
What's that?
that's my best attempt at Spanish.
Oh man.
That just means I'm illiterate at Spanish.
Well, that just means you don't live in California too.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that either. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex is he's going to get to the point where he's going to put Stepler Farms out of business.
Yeah.
And even if I were in a position to do that, I don't think I'd have the heart to do this to Ian. He's helped me so much.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm in the philosophy of like, it's better to like at least try and have everyone win than try and eat. Well, sorry, I'm having trouble speaking. Eat each other out. There's always a solution, I think.
I saw, Mark Miller works for a company that works with Tyson Foods, and they just announced they're closing their plant here.
Someone have a dog that's playing with the toy? It's a chicken.
Rubber chicken.
This chicken is. Let me see if I can catch the dog because he's all wound up. He's all wound up. Come here, Eli. I'll get him.
So yeah, Alex, just get out there and do it. That's the best thing to do. Work outside your comfort zone, and soon enough, it will be in your comfort zone.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to take that advice to heart. Thank you. All of you.
We're just trying to help, Alex. And we're
Even
not.
Bob.
It's also because it's so many people, it's hard to absorb all of it.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I can always watch the stream again.
Yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing, and you've already got some inventory, and then there's when it comes to flavors, there's always there's always a flavor out there that you can experiment with and see whether people like it or not, and that kind of thing.
Do you know how many people have asked me that question right there?
A lot.
You know what I plan on doing? Well, I'm going to kill this chicken for one.
Just put a hole in it and the squeaker won't work anymore.
I can't. This toy, we bought this toy for him when he was, I think we didn't even have him a month. And this is the only toy that he hasn't destroyed. He'll run around just squeaking it. He doesn't chew it. So that's his favorite thing. But that question there, I've had so many people say, oh, well, it's going to be crystallized. You're not going to be able to get it out of there. I have one of those bee blankets. So I plan on once a month, I'm going to wrap the bee blanket around it because it'll fit perfect. And I'll probably run the bee blanket. I mean, because it's wood, I'll probably run the bee blanket 4 or 5 days on it. And that way it'll heat it and then shut it off. And then when I do that, I'm probably going to, rotate it and stuff too. But, yeah, I'm just going to use my bee blanket on it. I mean, and I don't know how much it'll crystallize in 3 months time. I might be surprised, but that's my plan. I think I think that bee blanket will be the trick because it literally, if you can, it expands out. You can fit it around a 5-gallon bucket. The barrel now, it has a little bit more of a different shape, but I think I'll be able to get it enough snug. I think I'll be able to get it wrapped around it close enough that I'll at least be able to heat it some. So,
well, if you heat it like that, Brian, it should. I'm going to say the pores of the wood are going to open up.
Yeah,
and suck in, or either let out some of the bourbon, or let the honey into the cells and mix and stuff like that. So that might turn out to be a sort of a positive process, I'll say.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Now it was a recently poured, once used, and it's charred inside. So it does have some leakage. There's a little bit, but it's not a lot. And a couple of the areas where it was, I think the wood has absorbed a little bit because it's swelled, and you can see where it stopped. So I just let it go. I didn't want to I know Jason Bohemia Bees, he did one, and he painted like the entire outside. I didn't want to do that because I still wanted it to be able to breathe. So
There's something having a problem breathing back there.
And we lost Brian. Oh.
What he needs to do is connect that thing to an exhaust pipe.
Well, if he does heat up that barrel, like you say, Charlie, that's going to open up the grain on the inside, even if it is charred. So you get an interesting flavor, that's for sure.
that puppy, I swear, he runs and now he's right back, right at my feet with that chicken. Yeah, I'm just curious. I smelled it before I put the honey into it, and it smelled so darn good. It was just ridiculous.
Don't worry about it, Brian.
It's so funny. Let him play with it. It doesn't matter, Brian. Let him play.
Well,
it's funny.
It's almost 10 o'clock, and the wife has to be up at 5 a.m. So when he's playing with this chicken at 10 o'clock at night,
You get in trouble for it, right?
yeah.
Makes Brian want to choke his chicken.
Oh, God. There he is. There's a troublemaker.
Oh my gosh, he's
Exactly.
so fluffy.
Exactly. Here he is. Yeah,
He's like, where'd the chicken go?
exactly. He wants it.
He looks like he's full of energy at 10 o'clock.
This is literally every day. He's kind of chill throughout the day, and every day after like 8 o'clock, all the energy from the entire day comes out. Every single day around 8 o'clock.
How old is he?
He will be 1 year old in 8 days.
Oh, he's a puppy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what Brad said there, wonder since honey is hygroscopic, will it dry out the barrel and exaggerate? I don't know. I've had a couple people mention that, but now I've seen a number of people that have done this. I've watched videos where people fill it up and, they get a little bit of leakage, they wipe it off. And you know what I did? Like when I put it in though, I had pretty damp wash rag, and I wiped the outside pretty good. That way I wet the wood a little bit, thinking that it might help it swell some, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It's sitting over there. So,
Well, why would it be leaking if they got whiskey in there, which is a liquid? You would think that would leak too.
yeah, but
No,
so
because
when whiskey or it's just like water is put in it, the wood will absorb the liquid and it'll swell. So when you very first do these barrels, like I read up on, it's like a curing process, and you put water in them and they'll literally swell, and where all those joints are, literally swell shut. So the problem, and like the barrel company that I got this from, it said, even if you, like when you buy the barrel, if you intend not to use it in a certain time frame, it said fill it with water. That way it doesn't dry.
Ooh.
So there was a whole like curing process that they had, and just to keep it, usable, I guess.
I guess you could seal the joints with beeswax.
That's what I've done is I've rubbed some wax on it, and I have a little torch, and I kind of, but it said just kind of almost get some wax in your hand and kind of soften it up and just like push it into the grooves, like wherever you see leaking, just kind of push it in just to stop it in those like trouble spots. But we'll see. I mean, if I lose, half a pound or so leaking through, I'll accept that. I mean, I whatever I lose, I mean, the extra profit that I'm going to gain, that's what I'm looking at is, yeah, I'll be able to charge more per pound. So whatever I lose, it's just, I think is that as well, that's an acceptable loss. So the dog wants his chicken.
You could keep like Brad just said. You could keep a wet towel or around it, or you could put the barrel in a plastic tub, so whatever leaks you can get back.
Yeah, I have it sitting on now. I actually have it sitting on a piece of foam like I used to use for my foam wraps. So, I mean, I could, just wipe that up, I guess. But I have been tasting it as the little bit drips out. I've been going over and tasting it, but the pup is also like literally every day when I'm up here working, I'll catch him over there licking on the side, and I'm like, Eli, leave that alone. So,
What's he gonna walk around and kind of like wobbling back and
yeah,
half drunk?
yeah. But it'll be interesting. I mean, so plug the cracks. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's new. I mean, it's the first time I've done it. So I don't know, like after I've done this once, is there going to be like, will the flavor inside of the seasoning inside of that barrel, will it be just destroyed where it's like a one and done?
I don't know. Put a fifth in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could, in all honesty, do that. Get some cheaper bourbon and put that in
Go
there.
down to Sam's Club and buy that barrel of Jack Daniels they have for the holidays.
I doubt
much
the
was
honey will
that?
destroy the barrel, Brian. It might, like the flavor will, the rum flavor will go down. That's for sure. But damage the barrel, I highly doubt it.
Well, it'd be bourbon because this was a bourbon
bourbon.
barrel, and I even
Okay.
looked up the distillery that it came from. So,
See, then you can just start having them send you barrels, and then you can market your honey in their distillery.
see, Iowa lands, you need a liquor license. That there's no alcohol content in it, so it just picks up the flavoring is all. It's just like if you throw in, I mean, like I saw somebody say put in some vanilla beans or even like hot honey. It's just like that. It's just picking up the flavor. It doesn't pick up any alcohol. So now, if I were to mix booze with it to, cut it down some, yeah, you'd probably run into some troubles there. But
We won't say nothing.
You'd be in the pokey.
yeah,
You might have to call them master.
You'd answer your door at 6 a.m. with guys in black suits and sunglasses.
I'd say, are you here for Santa? Eli? Oh, well. Alex, when are you going to corner the market?
I don't know. I'm not a fortune reader. I wish I were. It'll make it a lot easier.
Brian's asking a good question there. Cottage food laws. As long as I don't add anything to it, they don't care. If I start cutting it and adding stuff and doing all that, then they get kind of funny. But from what I've been told, they don't bother you that much. Now, I don't market it in stores or anything like that. So the laws in Ohio are pretty lenient. Like labeling, I know they say, yeah, you have to have what it is. You have to have like that little nutrition label on it if you sell it, but as long as I don't add, that's where the thing I think where this kind of gets around that is, I'm not adding anything. It's just, I'm just soaking it in a barrel. So, and there was no liquid really in the barrel before I, like when I added it. So we'll see. If I get in trouble, I'll tell him my name's Bob Walker.
Hey, got broad shoulders. Everybody says that.
Yeah. Yeah, hi, I'm Bob Walker.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. Got a good swarm lore here, too, if you want that.
Might be in more trouble, Brian.
This dog and this chicken, 10 o'clock at night.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop out for this evening. Speaking with all you guys.
You're just upset because I'm not letting the dog have the chicken.
You've been going to bed early lately, Bob. It's all these Mondays and Fridays during the week.
Yeah, I've got too many Fridays, too many Sundays, and got some doctor's appointments coming up Monday, so I'm just going to try to make it all work. That's what we're doing. So, all right, guys. Y'all have a good evening. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, Bob. We'll see you.
Bob, I'll see you, buddy.
All right, Brian. Good night, guys.
Salty Dogs Apiary. Are you in Ohio? Oh,
That dog's hilarious.
All of a sudden, looking at cottage food loss here.
I don't think we have this over here, or the equivalent.
I know here in Maryland, as far as cottage huge, from what I understand, I can't, if I have like creamed honey, I can't add a flavor to it without a commercial kitchen and all that.
yeah. Ohio pretty much says like it's similar to that. If you add anything, like I would have to have a commercial kitchen, that's inspected and all that. So that's why, like this way here, I'm not adding anything. I think that's kind of where this gets into the gray area is, I'm not adding anything. I'm just be the same. Like if
All you're doing is flavoring.
that's it. And I'm not even really like adding anything for flavoring. I'm just soaking it in a barrel. So, but
Yeah.
I've seen like, so I decided to try this. I saw Jason Crook do his and it got me thinking, but then I was talking to my brother and my brother asked me if I have ever thought about that. And I said, no. I said, I know a couple of people that have. And he said he's heard a lot of people talking about it. And the reasoning is for people that drink bourbon, if you like old fashions, instead of using simple syrup in the old fashioned, people are starting to use bourbon flavored honey. So, and like from what I've seen, people are selling it for $20 some a pound.
Wow.
And I was sitting there scratching my head. I'm like, man, if I can even get 50 pounds, that's $1,000. So, and that offsets like the cost of the barrel was $140. So, and I'll end up spending a little bit more on, I'm going to get like nice, Blue Sky has them. I should have got them today while I was out there, but I didn't. Blue Sky has these nice, like old school muth jars that have like a bee and stuff in it. They're really nice. And I plan on getting those. And then I'm going to probably wax dip the top cork. That way it looks all nice and get some fancy. I want to get labels on them that have like a bottle number of, so that way people think it's a limited edition kind of, just kind of make it look nice.
Yeah, marketing.
It is. That's it. It's all marketing because you'll get like one of the guys at the flea market, when he asked me, he said, do you have like blueberry flavored or, watermelon? They were asking me all these fruits. And I said, no, I don't do any of that. Cause there was another honey stand kind of diagonal to me, and they were new. I hadn't seen them there before, and they were selling their honey. Oh my gosh. They had to, the guy was giving me dirty looks a couple times. They were selling their honey in 8-ounce little jar for $10. And I was selling my 1-pound jars for $12.
Yeah, 8 ounces, half a pound.
Yeah. And I just thought, but they had a lot of flavored stuff. And a guy was asking me, he said, what do you think about that flavored stuff? And I said, I said nothing against the people that do it.
Is it flavored honey or flavored like crystallized on it?
No, it was
Cream?
no, it was regular honey. And the only thing that I can think of is they got some type of syrup and mixed it, because like they had all these different flavors. And I was just like, what in the heck?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking like, well, that kind of ruins the whole thing about honey.
That's my thing. And that's what I told the guy. I said, in my opinion, I said, this is just my opinion. I said, I don't want to take anything from, because I know he was probably trying to get me to say, hey, that guy over there is, but I didn't do it. I said, just in my opinion, I said, honey is honey. Why add something to something that's good? And then I started talking about, I said, the only thing I'm doing, and I started telling the guy about the bourbon barrel. And he said, when are you going to be selling that? Because we started talking about old fashions and stuff. And I said, well, it won't be until next year. And he said, save some. I said, you're not the first person that's told me that. So I should actually, in all honesty, I should get another barrel and start another one, because I've had a number of people say, when you get it, let me know. So
yeah, I mean, you might as well start taking a pre-order list for this stuff.
I should because and I've told people it's probably going to be $20 or so a jar in there. Let me know when you got it. And I'm just like,
you can get $25 or $30 a jar, maybe.
Yeah, I probably will go like $22.50 or something, just because I'm going to have to offset like the cost.
Make it $25.
Yeah.
The hell with that 50 cents crap. Just make it even money.
Yeah, like my brother got some from a place up in Cleveland, and he said, he didn't tell me exactly. He said it was 20 something. So, but I mean, even $25 if I do 50 pounds, that's some, you're what, $1,250. So
yeah, I'd say that's worth it. If if the barrel is 125, that's $100. Well, $1,000.
I figure so. $140 for the barrel, and then when all said and done, like supplies, like you figure the Muth jars, the stickers, and all that. I figure I'll probably have another $100 and all that. So you figure $250 is right off the top. So I mean, you're looking at, I mean, I'll just say on a low end, $900 profit. So it's not bad,
Yeah, adding flavors to honey turns out can be profitable.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for the group. This is a good one I just noticed. In my cottage laws here in California, on the list, there is honey and sorghum syrups. But under it says only pure. No additional ingredients are allowed. So that would still also include creamed honey, because it's just all honey.
Yeah, it's just crystallized. It's not anything added.
But what about the flavoring?
Yeah, you have to it changes it when you flavor it. But I would just keep on flavoring.
Eli, buddy.
Well, I'll have to jump that hurdle when I come to it, I guess.
Did you see Moonshine Manuka?
No.
Man, that'd be something right there. You know what I did?
Where do you get that at?
Paul Hale Hives said that. You know what I
Oh,
did though too? The batch that I did here, I used some of my fall honey. So it was that richer flavored honey anyways. That it every time I take that stuff to the market, it's gone. And I end up trying to get people to buy my lighter like the spring. Um, so I use that rich flavored honey to start.
mhm.
So I'm hoping it turns out pretty decent. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, I can't imagine that it's going to turn out bad. I mean, some people have said, "Oh, it's gonna cream itself," and I'm like, "Well, I don't really know how." Be just like it's sitting in a bucket, you know.
Right.
So, and yeah, I mean, it's not flavoring right there. What Dan says, I mean, in a sense, I'm storing it.
Yeah.
I could tell people I didn't have a bucket available and I had this in the basement. So I don't think anybody's going to ask me. I mean, nobody's going to,
Yeah.
You're just small potatoes.
and that's exactly it. I'm in the whole grand scheme. I'm like a tadpole in like the Pacific Ocean, and I'm not even a tadpole. I'm like an amoeba. I don't even have a brain. I'm just an amoeba that's like fishing around in the sand.
No, a tardigrade because they're cuter.
Right.
You know those water bears?
Yeah.
They're
But now
adorable.
I could be one of those brain eating amoebas though. So I could be deadly, you know. Oh man.
See you, Morgan.
Uh,
Yep.
Got to go to Dayton. Oh wow. He's got to be close to Ohio then. He said Indiana. Huh. I tell you, I wish I've had a couple people I see there again bring a taste to the Bee Expo. I'll have to try it like before. Oh, you live in Indy, okay. I'll have to try it before I drive down to the expo, and if it's kind of getting there, I could always bring a jar and just let people try it. Bring some little tasting spoons. I think that would be something at least to do, but I want to let it go at least until the end of January, 1st of February, and so.
So did you fill that barrel completely up?
No, I did 5 gallons, and it's still got a little bit of room. Now I don't know. I don't like. I don't know when they fill those barrels. I don't know if they fill them to the top because it's got some room. I don't know. I don't know anything about brewing, so this is all new to me. So I have no idea. I was thinking about that actually. I'm like, man, I could put. I mean, it almost looks like I could put another gallon in it, but I don't know. I don't know what it would do.
Probably nothing if they're. What I do, I'd fill it to near the brim. I'd put that gallon in.
Yeah.
Worst case, it's going to be slightly milder, but it's still going to taste.
Right. I hope it has a taste. Now, the one that my brother got, he said the bourbon taste, he said it wasn't like, he said he'll probably never buy it from who he did again, just because he said he doesn't know how they did it. But he said it really didn't have enough of a bourbon flavor for him to warrant the extra cost. He said it was like kind of like, eh. So, but now other people have raved over it. So I don't know. We'll see. So,
Well, the only way to know is to try. Like my first batches of creamed honey, they didn't cream very well. Flavor was amazing, but it stayed somewhat liquid. It didn't seize. But my latest batch, like it became like this. It's almost like the consistency of Nutella. Like you can put the pail on its side and it won't run down.
Hmm.
Because I made some colored, like Halloween colored honey for my niece's birthday.
Oh,
Because her
cool.
birthday is on the 29th. And I made this orange and black honey. And whatever I scooped, the creamed honey I scooped out, like the divot is still there in the pail. So
What
that one seized like perfectly, and the texture is amazing.
When you cream honey, how do you go about that?
Well, the way I do it is I have a KitchenAid mixer. I bought 1 kilo. That's what, 2 pounds ish
2.2 pounds, yeah.
of clover, like off the shelf
Hmm.
creamed honey. I use that as a seed. I
Okay.
dunked that in the pail of the mixer, filled the rest with basswood honey, and just mixed it 15 minutes an hour for 15 hour over 2 days, and the result was really good.
Hmm.
It got me roughly a gallon of this stuff, and the clover taste like was overpowered by the basswood taste.
Oh, okay.
And now from now on, like I have my seed for making more and more creamed honey.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Huh.
so
Interesting.
how
Do you
much
stir this,
liquid
Brian?
did you have to put that with?
I had what'd you say,
Go ahead,
Mitch?
go ahead, Doug. Did you
I was
say
wondering
something,
if
Doug?
Brian stirs this.
So I am.
Yeah.
When I throw the bee blanket on it, I'm gonna rotate it. So I don't, and like I was gonna probably once a month. Um, and I mean I can even, because there's that little bit of air in there. I mean I could even set it up on an end and then flip it. That way it'll rotate it. Um, we'll see. I mean, I don't know anybody that's done this, so I don't. I don't know. I don't know how much you have to rotate it. I don't know. It's
We
almost
do
like I need a
cinnamon
giant.
honey, and
Almost like I
yeah,
need
we
a
do
giant.
cinnamon. I find you have to do a lot of stirring to get it thoroughly mixed. The
Hmm.
flavor doesn't travel real well in honey. It's thick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder. And thinking about it, I wonder. I think the diffusion rate of viscous honey would be limited. Yeah. Think about it. I wonder if I should rotate it like once a week, even
Yeah, but
just on a set
I
day.
think
Set it up
Doug's
on
right.
one end, set it up on another. That way, it mixes a little bit.
When I made apple pie honey, that's what I did. I kept it warm and rotated the jar
Hmm.
several times a day, so the apple taste would seep into the honey. Because cinnamon is easy, you just blend, but the apples there were dried apples,
Mm,
so that's what I did. So that's probably a good idea. Either set it on its side and turn it like that, or flip it
yeah,
maybe once or twice a day. When you get up, flip it. When you go to bed, flip it
yeah.
and keep it warm.
I've got it. I've got it sitting on its side, like it's right there.
Okay.
Um,
Can you
so
can you
when
turn it like this?
I can roll it, but like when I
Okay.
had it sitting up on the one end, no matter how hard I pounded that darn wooden, the stop that goes in it, it was seeping around there, and I didn't want to wax that or anything, because then I'm like, man, what if that thing swells and I can't get that little plug out? So, but I don't know. I'll let you guys know January 31st
Yeah.
how it turns out. Yeah. And hey, if it turns out good, then, I can always run a second batch through it. If it doesn't take on that much of the flavor, then I say, okay, I got a nice little end table here that I can set up. and I just know ahead of time, well, for every 5 gallon, for every 5 gallon bourbon honey that I do, I need to buy a barrel. So if it turns out, for next season, I'll probably get 2 or 3 barrels, and I'll probably, like, my first harvest in the year, I'll probably start, some, and maybe I'll do 2 early in the year and then do 1 later again. So, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, interesting experiment. That's exactly it. So,
I don't know. I would think you would be able to buy bourbon and just let it, once you cleaned it out, then you would throw that bourbon in there and let it soak for a while, and then
take the
pour
flavor back.
Yeah, so let it soak in, and then
Mhm.
take it out, and
Mhm.
whatever you do after that, and then you put your honey back in.
Yeah. So what I was planning on doing when I drain it is, I'll set it. I mean, the plug, it's on the side, so I can set that above a bucket just to let it drip, and I'll probably end up putting, like, I'll probably run it through a filter, that way I don't pick up any char or anything,
Mhm.
But after that, I was probably just going to take it outside and run the hose in it just to rinse it, get it clean. And I mean, that's not a bad idea. I could go and get,
I don't know if I would do that, because then you're putting water content in your honey when you put it in. Might not get all the water out of it.
well, I would let it dry.
I'd put the whiskey in it, let it soak into the wood for so long.
Yeah.
I'll say reprime the wood, and then
Yeah.
pour that out into a bottle. Save it, and you might even say, okay, I've got so many ounces of whiskey. You pour that in there. You let it sit
Yeah.
in there for, let's say, a week, and you keep rotating the barrel around to get it well
Yeah.
primed, and then pour the
Yeah.
liquid back out and see whether or not there's a decrease in the amount of liquid that came back out of the barrel.
Yeah. I mean, that
Or
would be
that
a
would have
way to-
that'll prove that fact that it's soaked into the wood. And
Yeah.
then you put another batch of honey in it. And you're just priming the barrel.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Because I could get, even if I were to get a $30 or $40 bottle of bourbon, I'm going to make it up with the cost of the honey. So,
Well, let's say you lose so many ounces of it in the wood, but then it
yeah.
goes back into the honey for the flavor part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
You could experiment it that way. At least
Yeah.
measure it out.
That's a good idea.
See whether or not you have a reduction in the liquid coming back
Right.
out.
Right. I tell you, I would almost bet that you would.
Yeah.
I would think. Anywhere where
But
that.
if you put the bottle in there, and like I say, rotate that barrel, let's say for a week or two, let it prime, and then bring it back out.
Right. Right.
And I wouldn't really worry about the moisture.
Yeah.
I would just go ahead and dump a bucket of honey in there.
So what I'm hearing is, in about another year, we're going to be seeing bourbon barrel honey everywhere.
I don't know. It's like I was telling Todd last night. You got Brian out in Colorado doing cream. You got Alex. Doug Air is going almost completely cream.
Really?
With his honey. Instead of liquid, they're going away from liquid to cream. Of course, that seems to be a big thing in his area.
Yeah.
And different ones here are starting to do. I think there's a resurgence of something old is becoming new again, because the public doesn't. You don't see creamed honey on the shelf, not in where we live. And it's like,
it's not right
oh,
here either.
this is nice. It's not runny honey. You can take your knife and dip it up like butter and spread it on your toast.
Yep.
And it's either honey or plain, or it's a flavored type of honey.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
In the States, I think the States, we're one of the few countries where like people look down on like crystallized or creamed honey.
Well, they don't know what it is.
And that's exactly it. Because I would.
I mean, you get the women come in here and they'll say, "Well, I had it and it had about that much creamed in the bottom, and I threw it away." They think it's rotted or whatever you want to call it, like normal food. They don't understand.
They don't understand. Yeah.
I'll be right back. Triton wants to see like my creamed honey, so I'll go get a spoonful and show him the consistency.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't understand. I tell people all the time, I'm like, when the honey crystallizes, I mean, you could do two things. You can, get lukewarm water, whatever. Or I keep like our jar downstairs on the windowsill. That way the sun pretty much keeps it from crystallizing. But I tell them you could either lukewarm water and heat it up a little bit and it'll, boom, you got liquid honey again. Or I said, just use it as a spread. I mean, I got some from Russell. Russell sent me some, and man, that stuff, every single time I think I make like an English muffin or a bagel, that creamed honey goes on it. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like I had a guy come in here just recently and he said, yeah, when we were a kid, we went across over into Canada at Niagara Falls and they would buy a tub, I guess. He said they called it, I think he called it whipped honey.
Yeah.
And whipped or cream, I mean, there are things about, what was it? Was it at the party we had last year? One of them was, Jason had whipped honey, didn't he? It was almost like icing.
Yeah.
It was real smooth, kind of an airy texture.
Did Gunner do that, or was that Jason?
It's either Gunner or Jason, and it was like icing.
Yeah.
You know anything about that, Doug? Where they just whip it, and it's real. It's not gritty or anything. It's like icing.
That's just your creamed honey, and you stir it, and it's whipped.
Okay. Well, anyway, the guy said his family, his mom and dad or whatever, would go over across the border and grab it and all that. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey guys, I'm going to hit the road. I'm sorry, Alex. I mean to interrupt, but I'm going to hit the road. So I'll see you guys
All
later.
right, Todd. Yeah, I got to get ready to shut down too. I got to get up tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
Let me,
See you later.
So as you can see, it doesn't run at all. It's like trying to remove my face. It's like
That.
It's
Nutella
like butter.
or peanut. Yes, almost like peanut butter. It's really, really silky.
yeah, I can see it's silky. It doesn't, it's really smooth looking.
And like it stays together. Like it's relatively cold in my house, at least in the kitchen, and the honey shrank and detached from the walls of the bucket. So yeah, like that was like I think 15 hours of mixing. Well, 15 minutes per hour for 15 hours.
Now, did you get up at nighttime and go out there every hour on the hour?
No. Once night came, I put saran wrap over the thing, and the next day I did another 6 or 7 hours of mixing. But yeah, it's
Wow. That's why the cost is where it's at, just because of the process in making it.
I don't know if I took too much time, but you can't deny the result. Oh my God, this is so good.
We sell liquid and cream the same price.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Huh.
I got a question about your barrel. When you're doing this,
That's sweet.
I would think if the percent of moisture in your honey is greater than the moisture in the barrel, you're going to transfer from honey to the barrel. if your barrel has more moisture, I would think it's going to transfer to the honey.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably, so I know I'm probably going to have to mess around with, I'll probably have to get my refractometer and check it. And if the content goes up, like I think it was around 17.2, somewhere in there when,
Well, that's pretty
and
dry.
yeah, and that was, I had some this year coming out 16 and a half. And it was, Ohio had some, it was weird because there were a number of beekeepers saying that they had uncapped honey, and people were like, I've got all these supers and the bees didn't cap it yet. And my thing is, well, give it a shake. If it doesn't shake, then just pull it. And there were people then saying, I checked my honey that I spun off, it was uncapped and it was 16 and a half. And I'm like, oh. So, and when the one newer beekeeper was over that I sold a couple hives to, he wanted to see just the extraction process, how you do it. So I was running him through, and like I did some supers from the farm out here. And then when I started on mine, I noticed the difference in it. Just when it was spinning, I could tell it was thicker. And I told him, I said, I guarantee this is going to be a lower percentage. And sure enough, it was like, I think it went from 17.2 down to 16.5. And that's, I told him, I'm like, yeah, it's probably good that I spun it off then, because
It's harder to get out of the cone.
Yeah.
That's why most of those guys put it
Yeah.
in hot rooms, in order to make it spin out better.
I don't have that like $100,000 building or whatever like Bob Benny has, where I have like a heated floor and
Well, I went up there to New York State and to Cutic's honey house up there.
Mm.
I mean, it's a huge facility, and he has like 3 lines. He's got a 60 frame Cowan line, and he has a nuke line, for spinning nukes out. And anyway, he had a room there. I think you could possibly back a tractor and trailer in to a 40-foot room, that's completely heated, and do it that
Ridiculous.
way and all that. So it was something else.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Well, guys, on the chat, it's 10:30. I'm going to go ahead and end it for tonight. I got to get up and go to this bee meeting. So we will see you next Friday, as far as I know. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream part right now.